Hi, I'm Phi, and I used to be just a normal guy, until one day, my life got flipped upside down. I feel like I didn't choose this path, I feel like this path chose me, and this path is becoming a modern-day shaman. I've been closed off to many people over the last 4 years while I've been on this journey. Secluded, kind of secret in a way. Very few people have been along this journey with me, but now I'm here to open up to all of you and let you in completely. No holding back. I'm here to spread love and to get rid of the negative stigma behind entheogens, to prove that they are not the monsters that we've been taught. And done properly, they can do great things for the human psyche and for the human race on this planet. So I invite you all to come along this journey with me and philosophize with me and share with me your own philosophies. So buckle your seatbelts and enjoy the ride. Hi, I'm Phi. My friends call me Nature, but most of you guys already know that.
What's up, guys? Mark Janky Benzies here. And, yeah.
Alright, so, what we're going to be talking about today on our Burn and Learn is we had an experience the other night with Indian Crystal again. And it was on my birthday, and I guess we wanted to just talk about the experience we went through, as it was very unique. But first we wanted to get into the Indian Crystal itself again. What's so unique about this particular kind of LSD? Is it the way it's synthesized? Is it synthesized from a different source? There's something about it that's just much more special even than other LSD that I've gotten. And
Right.
Mr. Kibenzis can vouch for that.
So it's like this. It's like, I've tried, I don't know, like 4 different types of LSD, and the crazy thing is, like, they're, like, I'm, like, almost, like, 99% sure, like, they were not research chemicals. Like, they were LSD. Because it gave the same effect, but there's something different with Indian Crystal LSD that's more magical, or it's just, there's something about it. It could be the fact that maybe this Indian Crystal is synthesized with ergot fungus, and the other LSD going around nowadays is synthesized from morning glory seeds. Who knows? But there's just something different about it.
So, the two of us and my wife took it at about 10 o'clock at night. And from there, we were kind of just sitting around, jamming to some good music. And all of a sudden, on about an hour and a half in, as we're reaching our plateau, you know, I got this crazy idea in my head, like somehow I could levitate. And we got talking about that for probably a good 20 minutes, and just like, I was so convinced that somehow I could meditate or levitate that, you know, the 3 of us were laughing hysterically. And as I said before in another one of my videos, it's laughing and then crying that really sends me deep into my trance. But what was weird with this one is, you know, after the laughing happened, something took over my body, and this is what I call the shamanic trance. It's like I feel this energy just completely take over my body. And what was weird with this one is, like, some energy was actually controlling my body. I don't know if it was my higher self, if it was some other light being, but what had happened was I began spinning around the whole room, bringing my arms up and down in a waving motion, and I couldn't stop it. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't stop it.
And let me explain, like, the whole room was, like, clean as shit. Like, I mean, clean as shit. And then by the time, like, the spinning, and like, he just got into the trance, I mean, he was spinning so fast and so hard. I mean, the pictures on the wall started, like, flailing off a little bit because of the wind that he was creating from spinning that fast. And it's weird because, like, during the experience, like, you know, because I was just trying to figure out, like, why that was happening, too. Is this, he was probably in his mind, like, you know, what the hell, like, I'm trying to stop, but I can't stop. I was thinking maybe his problem was maybe he didn't let go. Like, maybe it was just, like, he was holding on to something. In reality, just let go. And like you said, like...
That's where it got interesting, is I looked at him with a straight face in complete control of my mind and told him, I cannot stop. I literally can't. And he said, well, you just gotta let go. I said, that's the issue. I said, I've completely let go and surrendered to the energy, and now the energy is literally carrying me and making me dance in this manner. And I really still question, like, if it's possible, if I was dancing outside somewhere, if this energy could have actually lifted me off the ground. It felt like it was going to pick me right up off the ground. Now, I don't know how I would have made sense of that if it happened, but I mean, a long time ago, Nikola Tesla said, the moment science begins to study the occurrence of non-physical phenomena rather than just the occurrence of physical phenomena, that's the moment science will advance more in a decade than it has in the last 100 years. And to me, what I experienced when I let go and this energy took over my body, that to me was some sort of non-physical phenomenon. And in a way, to me, it was just some spiritual energy that did it. But we've really been talking the last few days, and like, what if spirituality is simply just the science of the non-physical that we don't understand, that Nikola Tesla was telling us we need to tap into, that we need to begin to start studying. Spirituality isn't just this mumbo-jumbo bullshit. There really is a science behind it that we're trying to understand.
And what's crazy is, it might be that, like you said, the unknown science, you know what I mean? Like, spirituality itself could be a science that humans just do not understand. It's so advanced that we don't understand it. And then, because we don't understand it, we just name it humble-bumble bullshit, you know what I mean? And it's not just bullshit. Now, the crazy thing is, as we were going through this experience, like, so he went through his trance. He was sitting here just jumping around the room spinning. I'm sitting there, like, kind of like I said, trying to stop him, but yet then realized in the trance, like, I would go through a trance too, but it wasn't like something was physically moving me. Something was speaking through me. Like, it was not, I wasn't mentally thinking of the things to say. They just said it through me. It was, and it's almost like when I was saying it, it's almost foggy to think about what I said because it wasn't exactly necessarily me saying it, but it was me saying it. It was my higher self saying it.
There was a point, as I described in my last video, where after laughing usually comes crying. I felt like this deep pain, and as I was crying, getting it out, he was comforting me. And what's strange is, like, I've been trying to understand where this pain comes from on some of these experiences. Like, I always get it out by crying, but it feels like each experience there's more. And out of nowhere, he just says to me, it's okay, bro, like, you've got all this pain from your past life that you need to let go of. Those are past lives. This is this life now. And I had never ever thought about that before. What if somehow there's memories in my DNA or something of past lives, and I've got pain from my past lives that I'm supposed to somehow let go of in this lifetime so I can free myself? Almost in a way of how the Hindus believe we're in this constant cycle of death and rebirth, and the only way to free yourself from it is to achieve this enlightenment or free yourself from your own negative karma, from all your pain and suffering.
Yeah, and what's crazy is, like, even with me saying that, like, it was my higher self saying this through me. It was crazy because that was me in the trance. Because there was things I would do, like when he was he was speaking in Elf, and that's the only thing I almost forgot to say. Dude, you were speaking in Elf so great. It was better than I could ever speak in Elf. I've tried. Like,
it was fluent for me, and I've known this language for millions of years.
For millions of years, he had an accent with it, like,
and it wasn't me speaking. It was after the crying, the trance went even deeper, and that's when I completely let go. And at one point, I was laying on my back, and I began to start making almost like these weird, like, stuttering noises, like something was winding up in a way.
It sounded like
and like as I'm letting
noises in DMT space.
Yeah, like as I'm letting go and doing this, it's like something began to, like, pull my body up, and it was doing something with my hands. And I remember my hand was almost like this as I was speaking in the Elf, and that was me just completely letting go, and almost like my higher self was speaking through me. But after I got the crying and the pain out, I almost had like a memory of a past life or something, and it leads me to believe that this is not the first time that me and him have been on this earth going through this journey of shamanism. I believe that somehow me and him have been shamans together before, many times on this earth, my wife included, that somehow the three of us are almost like one shaman, as strange as that is. I don't know where the memory came from, but it's like I remembered his energy at that moment from thousands and thousands of years past and from different lives on this planet. And it's really strange to say, because it was right after he said, I've got to let go of the past life aggression and anger that I'm holding on to. And then after all this happened, it's like I kind of snapped out of the trance and was just in a deep mental space. All three of us really were. We were all just kind of sitting on the floor meditating like this, and what it felt like to us is that all three of us were one person, almost like a mad scientist that was locked away in a padded cell that was having a conversation with himself, with other bits and pieces of his own subconscious in his own head, that all three of us were the same person. So it's like,
at that point, it was like you were just another side of my consciousness, and you were like, we were just questioning each side of the consciousness, and we started questioning each other.
And it's like the more we would learn about each other, the more we would learn about ourselves, and almost in a way, it's like we're quantifying our existence. But it's strange how like we all kind of felt like we were that same mad scientist in a room by himself, talking to himself to better understand himself by splitting himself into pieces of his subconscious that are different pieces. It was just a very interesting, I guess, perception shift and experience to have. But I really wish I could remember more of the questions we were asking each other and the things we were talking about.
We were talking about, like, it was almost like we started talking about quantum physics also. Like, started talking about, because the whole levitation thing, like, if we wanted to levitate, we have to understand quantum physics and quantum, the quantum theory, because then if we can understand the strings, if these strings are vibrating at a certain frequency, change that frequency, what happens? What happens if you change the frequency that the strings are vibrating on? Like, then we started questioning each other on DMT, because he wanted to smoke DMT so bad on the peak of that. Like, when we just...
Before we sat down and started talking, I came out of my trance, and not in like an egotistical way, but I don't know if anyone that's going to be watching this watches Trailer Park Boys, how Jim Leahy says he is the liquor, but it was strange. I came out of this trance and like got this feeling like I was the LSD and that he was the DMT, and that somehow the two of us have to put ourselves together, or the LSD and the DMT together, to have this really huge breakthrough where we'll have this very unique understanding of life. And I was very persistent on trying to get these guys to smoke the DMT with me, as strange as it was. And we were sitting down talking, and I kept questioning them, and even some of like the things we were talking about led to, so you're saying I should smoke the DMT? And my wife is like, no, and I'm like, well, what's there to be afraid of? Remember, fear doesn't exist, because we got into the idea of how fear doesn't exist. There's only love and the absence of love, and that living in a vibration of fear is simply living without love, and that somehow the ego, somehow we got to the idea, he came to this conclusion and said it like out of nowhere, that the ego is simply a love energy blocker. It blocks love energy from flowing into the human body. And Terence McKenna described the ego as like a psychic invader, and that's what it does. It blocks the flow of universal love energy coming into us. It makes it so that we don't receive it. We're still trying to understand really what the ego is, but that was a very unique idea right there that he had come up with. Oh, we still got time. We still got time. That's one of the big things I'm trying to understand, is what is the ego?
And that's crazy that I said it,
and
because
do we
randomly
really still need the ego? I mean, I keep getting this
that's another
idea
thing.
that human beings are evolving. What if we're supposed to evolve away from ego? So the ego really is something I'm trying to understand on a deep level. What is it? Why does it control me in certain ways? Because I feel like there's sometimes I do things that like the true me, my higher self, wouldn't normally do. And I'm catching myself sooner and sooner, like even the other day, just as silly as it is, instead of asking my wife to do something, I told her to do it, and immediately I was like, wow, that's rude, even though she took nothing by it. I said, wow, that's rude, I'm sorry. That was like the ego speaking. I said, will you please? The ego is very interesting, and I feel like the ego definitely stems from what society tells us we're supposed to be. That's why it's the psychic invader, because it makes you act in ways that the true self would not act at all.
And it's like this though. Now, on the trip, I remember us questioning even the ego, because we were like, and even I said, like, I remember saying this, and it's like, I said a lot of things I normally just would not say, like, things that even my higher self, it made me question, is there a good side to the ego, I guess, and then the question also. Because like my higher self even was like, yo, if we want to figure out reality and the universe and understanding creation and things like this, we have to question everything and everyone. We have to question everything. I was like, we even have to question our teachers, question Terrence, question, Buddha, question Jesus, question everyone and everything and everyone's beliefs, put them all together and find out the truth.
Because every time he would come up with an answer and be like, I know this, like this is it. I feel like that's the ego thinking it knows everything, because true knowledge is knowing that you know nothing. You only have ideas about what you think you know. And he would come up with what we thought was an answer, and then I'd be sitting there and I'd ask him a question. And that question would make him almost contradict his answer. And the three of us were just going back and forth questioning each other, and it was like this strange holy trinity of energy flow. It's like the three of us are like three parts of one whole shaman, and that the three of us are checking each other to make sure, like, we have the answer right, or that we think it's right, or maybe the three of us are there to tell each other that we really don't know anything.
Right.
Like, not in an egotistical way, at least I hope not. I look around and realize, 90% of adults don't know what the heck is going on in life. Nobody has a clue. After this last experience, I really understood. Nobody out there has a clue about reality and what reality is. And in my opinion, I'm not discrediting science in any means. I love science, but I feel like science is looking for love in all the wrong places.
Right.
They're looking outward for answers when we need to begin looking inward for the answers, because deep down, each and every one of us is the universe experiencing itself in a human form to better understand itself. So if we look inward for the answers, deep down in there, they're somewhere.
No, that's why I like fucking quantum theory and quantum physics, because that is science. But it's now the scientists are starting to understand, like the main scientist that does all that, like Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's really big with that. But like, is focusing inward, because instead of focusing on the outer verse, on the universe,
the innerverse.
The innerverse. Now, but their innerverse is different than our innerverse.
Universe.
And what's funny though is their innerverse is slightly different than our innerverse, because they're talking about innerverse on a microscopic level, like looking on your skin and going so deep microscopically just to see the vibrating strings just vibrating, and realizing that it's not physical, that something physical really isn't physical if you look deep in the microscope. And at that level, the space and time starts acting like the light dimension. And you only know the light dimension if you do psychedelics and if you've done DMT. But what's funny is, the place you said when you were in the trance.
Real quick, before he gets into this, something I missed on the trance. When I was spinning around, I was seeing another reality. And this reality, it was like heaven. And it's almost like how I imagined heaven. I've even posted on my Facebook before, because I feel like I've seen it in my head before. This place, this heaven, is like a music festival that never ends. And everybody there was just dancing together. And I feel like one of those energies almost leapt into my body and was dancing with my physical body. That's, I think, what it was. Earlier in the video, I was trying to understand what that was. What if one of these other light beings that was there, that was in this place dancing, just leapt into my body and started moving me around? That's why I couldn't stop. Because at one point I was over the room over here, and I spun around and looked at these guys and was like, guys, you've got to come see this. But I didn't know how to show them because I was the only one in the room seeing it. Like, how do I show them? How do I get them into the trance with me so I can see this place? And I feel like some of it might have to do with this dance I was doing. That's how we get there, but we need a bigger space.
Now, what's crazy is this. Like, I didn't tell him any of my experience. Like, I briefly told him about my experiences with DMT. But, like, it's not like I told him detail for detail all my experiences with DMT. Now, this place that he was at is a place that I have been on DMT. Like, my video's on YouTube. It was called, like, the Dancing Noodle of Light or some shit like that.
And I have not seen that video.
And he's probably not even, I didn't even know that. Like, he's not seen the video. So what I mean is this. He went to this place where all these beings were in this place that's almost, to me, I explained it in this video. Or I explained it even way before the video, because the video was like a year after the actual experience. Like, so I explained it in the experience that it felt like I just jumped into a rave and everybody was just dancing like noodles of light. And then I did some research and found out that was, and a lot of religions call that the bardo. It's basically where souls await to be judged, basically. And right now, they're just being the free essence of a soul. So that's why it's just like a big rave, because they just love being a soul. Now, what's weird, though, on the DMT perspective, they looked like dancing noodles of light. Now, the noodle part, I think it's because they were, let's be honest, in my opinion, I think they were just freshly dead people. And they just died and they're just enjoying being free essence of a soul, just dancing and having fun and just waving around and just being crazy.
My perception was quite different. They looked just like humans, but their bodies were like glowing light. And it's not that they were waiting to be reborn. They had somehow understood the secrets of the universe in the past and evolved themselves into this higher frequency and higher dimension. Like he was talking about earlier with quantum physics, what if we can change our vibrations? And what if these are people of the past? Because some of them looked like they would have been like Mayans. Like some looked like hippies, some looked like Mayans. They were all different types of people, but they were all just living and loving and dancing together. And it was strange. It's like somehow they had figured out how to raise their vibrations, and they had ascended to this higher vibrational
what if
earth.
it's like this? What if this is crazy, random, fucking off the wall thought? But like, what if the beings I seen were like lower beings? Were lower beings that, and what you seen were the beings that were allowed to stay in that dimension.
Possible.
And like mine were the ones that had to get reborn back to this dimension, because Hindus believe in like reincarnation. I mean, it's the thing is like I believe
until you free yourself.
Yeah, I believe you have to enlighten the self, and like by doing this, like we're trying to figure out, we're enlightening ourselves, but while we're enlightening ourselves, we're figuring out reality. Like, but the thing is, a lot of people would say figuring out reality is like off the wall thinking. But off-the-wall thinking is what we need to do to really figure out, because reality is off the wall. Reality is...
And the thinking we were doing the other night was absolutely off
the wall. And that was, I felt more myself. Like, that was my higher self talking to your higher self.
I felt like not only were we exploring this chemical, or this molecule spiritually, but also trying to understand it and helping us understand reality in a scientific way too. Because I've always said I believe spirituality and science can go hand in hand. I believe spirituality is simply a science of the non-physical worlds that we can learn to understand and tap into. Nikola Tesla had some kind of idea about it, because he even said to understand the secrets of the universe, we have to think of terms in energy, vibrations, and frequencies. And all night, all we were talking about, we were breaking like everything down to energy, vibrations, and frequencies somehow. Like everything was breaking down to that three things. And it's strange. I really am trying to understand.
And on a separate note, for me, the whole LSD experience, the whole thing, brought back every single memory of every single DMT trip I've ever had. Everything I've ever learned, from doing ayahuasca, from doing LSD, from doing the morning glory seeds, from doing DMT. Every memory I've ever had on every psychedelic experience just smashed me in the face, and I was it. It was almost like I had access to a hard drive of information that I could just grasp all of that information and it was just speaking through me, and I didn't even have to think about the information just came to me.
In a way, it was like me, him, and my wife, since we were all sitting there like meditating in a meditative pose, talking to each other. It's like all of our higher selves were speaking through us to each other's higher selves and to us, so we could all understand and put our ideas together to better understand this reality. Because it's strange how it's hard to remember what we were talking about, because we were all just like sitting there and it was just flowing. It's like we weren't even talking. We channeled our own higher selves somehow. And really what it is just trying to quantify our existence, understand our existence at the quantum level. And not many people are really trying to understand existence. We're so blinded by this false reality that's pulled over our eyes, this blindfold that people give into. Like, I won't even get into politics. I was about to. Just the way people are acting.
Yeah,
right now is the time we need to come together and love each other. Like, more than ever right now, in the whole world, we need to come together. We need to all become the change we wish to see in the world, so that the world can begin to change. As human beings, man, we've got the ability to create a utopia on this earth. So what are we doing destroying each other? Think about it. Do you guys want to keep, fighting and destroying each other, or like understand each other's differences and understand each other's perceptions on life and move forward and create a utopia so we can all enjoy this planet?
Right.
I mean, war doesn't even make sense to me after the other night. Like,
a lot of human human thoughts don't really make sense, because humans think about the wrong things. We need to be thinking about how to love each other, not what's different between each other. No, we need to think about what's the same between each other.
We've all got a lot more in common than we do differences, and different entheogens have really helped me see that, because we are all one. If we're all connected to this one consciousness, imagine each and every one of us to just be a different aspect of the subconscious of that whole consciousness. So when you're speaking to somebody else, you're also speaking to an extension of your own subconscious. So speak to that part of your subconscious as you would want that piece of your subconscious to speak to you. Show them the same love you would show yourself. We're all one being. I think we'll end it here and maybe get a video too going on if you guys like this one. Hey, it only takes one click to subscribe to the IFI.
You can come subscribe to my page too, Mark Jane Cubenzes. Thank you guys for watching.
Have a wonderful day. Much love.
Peace.